Okay, so it's 6:59. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a minute. This is Management 311, right? Fundamentals of, is that correct? Fundamentals Management. I'm going to admit Caitlin. Hey, good evening, Caitlin. Do you hear me? I need to unmute your microphone. Okay, I still can't hear you, Caitlin. So, like I said, you have your microphone muted. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 7 o'clock, and this is Tuesday, the 18th of October. We're going to talk through Management 311, Fundamentals of Management course, and you should see my Moodle page. Caitlin, do we have you?
Yes, I'm here, and I can see the page.
All right, great. Okay. Well, look, it looks like you're the captive audience. So,
Looks like Melissa joined. I'm not the only one.
oh, let me see who. Oh, yeah, I see that now. And she's not showing up on my screen.
Hi.
How come you're not
I'm
showing?
here.
Yeah, I hear you. You're not showing up on my screen now. Okay. Well, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. So, well, look, ladies, I appreciate you being here. This is a non-mandatory event, and so it's really kind of free flowing. Go for about 30 minutes, and then I'll have to end it. And that's more a function of how much time Zoom allows us, vice anything else. Let me do just a quick orientation, and then I'll take whatever questions you have or suggestion of what you want to talk about. For everybody else, this is what the Moodle page should look like. Picture of your textbook. We're on the 15th edition now of Management by Bateman, and it's course started yesterday, the 17th of October. On the Moodle page, you will see an announcements. This is a very critical piece of Moodle, and that's where I'm going to send most of your instructions. This is where you would have found the syllabus information and then the week 1 assignment. Never fear if you don't go in there. That information is all very much the same as what you'll see on the Moodle page under weeks 1 through 8. The syllabus is posted on the Moodle page as a PDF file. And then, of course, there's the introduction. And Melissa, I got you. Thank you. You just popped up on my screen now. Okay. And then introduce yourselves for. Most people have seen it. Ask for help. This is more designed for just general issues you might have. And the beauty of this is that if you put it here, and with my response, it allows other students who might have the same issue. I'm picking up a low system resources may affect my audio quality. So if I'm having an issue and I may not know it, just please try to bring it to my attention. I'll see what I can do. All right. How to find us for the Zoom information. So for obviously a couple of you, this does apply because you found me. But here under the Management 311 Zoom session information, if you just click on that link, and once it loads, you'll get the upcoming meetings. And there's today. And all you have to do is just hit the start button or even hit the topic link, and it'll pop you into Zoom. Should not be any issues. Okay, and that's how you find us. If for some reason you can't make it, which again is fine, this is not mandatory, I will post these here under the weekly office hours Zoom session, shared video files. So for those who joined tonight, Caitlin and Melissa, this is going to be captured on video and then posted here if you're okay with that. If not, blank your screen or otherwise so inform me. But there should not be any personal identifiable information shown or discussed. It's all fairly general, and I wanted you to feel free to offer up anything and everything that you want, but just want to let you know what we ultimately do. And this tends to work pretty good because sometimes I'll get a number of people who can't make the timeline, but do want to see the video, and we'll communicate through that. Okay, so I'm gonna hush up for a minute and see what you two want to talk about.
I just started reviewing the chapters and just started going through those questions to start answering them for Wednesday. So far, it's going well.
Good. Okay, so you understand how we're going to do our sessions. Essentially, it's any time that you want to post up to Wednesday, and I used to post it. Have your post done by midnight on a certain day. Well, that caused some obvious confusion. So, because if I say midnight on Tuesday, does that mean Monday night or does that mean Tuesday night? So it always kind of caught people by surprise. So that's why the 11:59, or since I'm a retired Marine, 23:59 is the post time. So that is considered attendance, is coming in and accessing Moodle and then actually completing some type of activity. As you can see, I put this here on the Moodle page. A marking of present requires students logged in the course and submitted work for grading or has initiated contact with, for example, me, who asked a question about an academic subject. Okay, so simply coming on Moodle and just looking doesn't quite make attendance. You have to actually turn something in, like a quiz or make a post or something like that. That's not to be confused with participation. Participation is graded with evidence of participation by the student, and then I kind of lay out what that implies, and that means actually answering and doing the posts like what do I mean by that? So as you went into week one, you all found this. First thing again is I need everybody to accept the syllabus, and all you have to do is in that is just go in and then read, understand, accept the terms of the syllabus. This is considered a attendance, and once you've completed this, you will be marked as present for week one as well, even if you do nothing else. This is a University of Mount Olive requirement, and this helps them understand who is in fact here, and so we can start off the term right. So, Melissa, when you said the questions, I'm assuming these that are on the screen right now, the 4 for chapter 1 and the 4 for chapter 2. Okay, good. So
because that's due Wednesday, right?
Yeah, so here's what we like to do is you post your answers on Wednesday, no later than. You can do it tonight if you want. I don't have a problem with anybody working ahead, as long as you don't get too far ahead. But post these by Wednesday, 23:59, and then you are good. And then after that, I want you to respond to others, individually comment on their posts. A minimum of 2
people, right?
Do that before Friday night. Now, if there's others that have posted Wednesday night when you've posted, and you want to knock that out and respond to theirs that night, so you got everything done on Wednesday night, that's perfectly fine. If you post 23:58 on Wednesday and then you don't respond to 2 others by 23:58 on Friday, that's fine too. Just want to make sure that you answer these questions. And I do not grade on word count, even though I put on here your answers to these questions should be about 100 words or so. That's to give you kind of a sense of how much time and effort to spend on each of these questions. You don't have to go out and write a 23-page paper on each. This was what I'm saying. if you want to.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Okay, so try to find a balance here. This is more than a scavenger hunt. I mean, there's going to be some where, you know, you could go in and you just, you know, crank them out based on what I've asked. You know, give me the, you know, X elements of external environment. Well, you know, there's a page and you can lay them out. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. So I'm looking for you to give a short answer because I've read the text. I know what, you know, for example, question 4 of chapter 2, each element of the external environment. I know what the answer is according to the text. Give that, but then I'm asking you to discuss it. So just give me an indication that you have an understanding of what it means or apply it to a present day circumstance in your own life or occupation or example that you can provide. Again, the reason for this is this is partly how we understand as instructors that you've mastered the information. Okay, we don't ask these questions just to be a pain in the rear or because we just want to give you busy work. We're trying to ensure that you've actually read the text and that you understand the information presented in the text. Because I don't see you face to face for seated class, this is kind of the next best thing that I have to see that you at least understand some of the information that's provided. That coupled with the quizzes that we have and the paper that's due and the weekly homework, the experiential cases or the case studies, whatever's been assigned, all goes to calculate your grade. And your grade is, again, a measure by us, the instructor, to determine how well you've demonstrated understanding and mastery of the course. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. So you and I will all get together and understand what each other expects and is looking for. You'll find out what I'm looking for. I'll get a better feel for how you present things. And if we don't get it quite right on the first week, that's okay. You know, we, as I tell everybody, the only way you will fail one of my courses if you do not do the work. If you absolutely do not turn anything in, that's how you fail. If you provide an answer to chapter 1, question 1, that you feel is right, and I may not necessarily agree with, because as leaders, there's different ways of looking things, and I'm talking outside, just again, the kind of the norm here. That's okay. If I don't agree with what you say, that's not going to count less. In fact, I enjoy students who pull things out and don't necessarily agree with what the text provides. But I'll caution on that. If you do want to disagree, or even if you do agree, just understand the fundamental relationship. The one that matters the most is your conclusion and the evidence you use to support that. So if you tell me the sky is not blue, it is in fact, you know, green, then okay, but what's the evidence you're going to present to me to support that? Fair enough?
Yes.
And agreed.
Okay.
The biggest thing is like if you were to see something and we're just like way off, like we thought we understood it and we're, you know, you're reading our thing and you're like, you were just lost in the sauce. Like, would you actually like comment yourself and be like, hey, you might want to reread this? Or is it kind of that as long as they explain ours? Yeah. Like, yeah, because I tend to overthink a lot. So if I'm not careful, I will go into a tangent. And my biggest thing is always like, if I'm incorrect, like I want to be, no, not told I'm dumb, but to help get a better understanding if I am just super off the path. And I understand everyone's going to have certain different things, but if you were to see something, you're like, yeah, no, that's tenfold different.
I think this would be a failure of on all of our parts if I let something like that go. Yes, if we're lost in the sauce, as you said, which is a great way of phrasing it, I certainly will. And And I'll caveat that with, if you think I am, hey, you need to call me out on it. This is a two-way relationship here. And, not saying that instructors always get it right, but we at least have the ego to think we do. I expect a correction, but yes, one of the things that I am not an English major. Let me put it this way. I have been an adjunct professor for a number of years, and when I grade and as I go through, I do look for basic, grammar and word usage. So if it's clear that you haven't proofread your submission, yes, I'm going to call you out on that. That won't be the major part. The real major piece is, again, getting back to that relationship of conclusion and evidence to support. I'm going to look at your submissions not unlike if you were in my organization and you were presenting a information paper or some type of submission within a business framework. In other words, how clearly have you communicated? How well have you captured the essence of the issue, the problem, and how well have you laid out recommendation? If you tend to go off on a tangent and we start going off, there was a book years ago called by Louis L'Amour. He was a Western writer, and he joined two words in a beautiful form. It was called yondering. Okay, so yonder, which means some type of objective, someplace out there, and then wandering, which is we're going to kind of sort of get there. So in this case of yondering is we're going to sort of kind of get to someplace somewhere. And believe me, I've had papers like that. Those are very rare though. I don't think many people get that extreme. But yes, try to use brevity. And part of this is trying to save you some time. I'm convinced that education is the one industry that the student doesn't always want their money's worth. Many students want that diploma at the end, that piece of paper, to be able to hang on the wall and to demonstrate a bachelor's degree. And that's fine. If that's your purpose in this class, I certainly understand and respect that. But if you truly are spending money on an education and want that, then let's dive into this. Let's get past the wave tops and get into the meat of it. Either way, if you want to just skim it to what we call cooperate to graduate and just meet the minimum achievement or meet minimum standards and slide by, that's fine. If you want to dig into it and expand your horizon, so to speak, then that's fine as well. I just I try to find that out on each of the students up front, so that I know how to prepare and spend my time with you. Either way, my time is your time. And if you want to get in it, and Melissa, you want to really dig into it, even if sometimes you go out on a tangent, maybe, or Caitlin, hey, I'm okay with that. We'll do that. Fair enough?
Fair
Fair.
enough.
Okay. So that's the main part of the discussion forum is, again, the Wednesday night, and then have the two posts for students. And then you'll see that there's homework. There's going to be homework / case study. In this particular case, on my screen, you'll see homework for week 1 is experiential exercise 2.2, which is found in chapter 2. And this is an exercise that I want you to have done and have that posted by Saturday night, 23:59. And this will change every week. Every week there'll be an exercise or a case study or a concluding case or both. It kind of switches up. One week there may be one of these. Next week there may be 2. So just kind of a heads up that it changes out. But again, this is an opportunity for you to demonstrate some knowledge, and it goes through some self-analysis in this particular case. This is pretty much what they mean by experiential, and or a concluding case where you're to rip a case apart and answer some questions. Excuse me. Now, in this particular case, and in the case of all your homework, you generally want this in Word format.
Mm.
The APA formatting generally applies. That includes, I recommend you use paragraph headers if you have to. Certainly writing the question down and then answering the question is a good format and habit to get used to. Double space, 1-inch margins, 12-point font, and the like. Now, these should be probably about 500, 750 words in length. Again, I don't grade on words, I grade on the content. So if you can make your point in 100 words, then go for it. I don't think you can, but we'll try it.
Agreed to disagree.
Or if it takes you 7,500 words, I may not be quite happy. I can assure you I'll read it. But we try to find that happy medium of depth, so you demonstrate a knowledge of your answer, and brevity, so we're not burdening the boss down too much. And in here, I'll tell you kind of the format. So if we're in the exercise case, 4 points to consider, and provide that in your response. If it's a concluding case, then it has a number of questions. And again, there's the explanation of what I'm generally looking for. And that's all for week 1. You read 2 chapters, you do some questions, and then do homework, and you're free.
So I did want to just confirm with the homework. I know you said that it was going to be changing up each week and everything, but it would always put it like be in that bright blue color with like the exact which one. So like right now we have nothing for chapter 1 we need to do, but chapter 2, we're doing the 2.2, just the corporate culture part.
Boy, I hope you're right. Yes.
Okay.
That's
I
what
just
I
wanted
was
to make sure
after.
because I'm like looking at it and I was like, well, kind of like some of it's not really a question, but some of it kind of is. So I just wanted to make sure like how, I guess some of it would be unless I'm looking at it incorrectly. Because like,
No, you got it. When you go onto the actual exercise and you look at it on your text, and it should be, I hope I got those. Just a second as I reach down to pick up my text. I hope I got those pages right. Now I'm using perhaps a different text than you all, because I have an instructor copy that was early on, but the pages should link up. Yeah, so when you look at page 64, at the very bottom, you'll see it starting. But over on page 65, you're asked a series of questions as to which you prefer to work in an organization, an A or B, and you do that about 12 times. And then you
so we
have
would
a
just pick
scoring.
one and explain ourselves.
Now, just basically what I want you to do is do the exercise. And then when we get into the interpret the score, kind of let me know what that is. Okay. I was found to prefer performance culture. Performance culture values individual organizational performance, and then kind of give me a little bit more on that. What did the text tell you about it? What are some of the indications or reasons for it? Give me an example out of your life where that is true or not. Tell me what that impact is. And remember, although these are about you, you're in class to learn how to lead others or manage others. So, would this be a useful exercise to have your subordinates do, so you get a better feel for what they are expecting? As an example, would it be in, for example, take an innovative company that relies on a certain type of culture, Google, would Google tend to want a certain type of individual that prefers a certain type of culture to work in that organization? Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I want to see some you in it. I mean, I know this again is kind of like a scavenger hunt, and I do need you to answer the question and pull the information out of your text, because that's what it's measuring. But it goes a little bit beyond that, where I'm looking for some you in this, and what you could tell me about it. Okay.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, week number 2, just so you're up on this, it's considered what is called an even week, and that's going to change up a little something. Okay. In other words, you're still going to have, in my screen, you should see week number 2.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Still have a number of questions. Yeah. What are the steps to strategic management? I have no doubt you both could go in there and tell me what they are, because the text will tell you. But then I'm going to give you kind of the, so what? So tell me something about it. All right. Post your responses, and, post and help each other out. When you're giving the feedback, try to get beyond, hey, I agree with what you wrote completely. You're doing a great job. I love being in class with you. I, completely agree. Those are good comments, but maybe take a look at it like you're the instructor too, and offer something that they may not have posted or that you thought of. Or ask them a question. And then the homework study is, okay, in this case, it's a concluding case. I don't know if that's chapter 3 or chapter 4, doesn't matter. But in this case, it's a concluding case, not the experiential exercise. And yes, okay, I know. Thank you very much. You're only gonna give me 10 more minutes. Okay, week 2 quiz. So in even weeks, you're going to take a quiz. These are timed. You have 1 hour. They're about anywhere from 30 to 36 questions. They're not all multiple choice, or what I would tell you is actually best answer. They will be probably about, there'll be some true false in there. And you have 1 shot at it. And so try to take it where you're not going to be interrupted. The quiz will open at noon on Wednesday of that even week. Okay. That's when I'll have it written, and I'll post the questions. It will close at 23:59 on Sunday night. So if I tell you it takes you about an hour, and it will, then you don't want to do it at 10 minutes to midnight on Sunday night, because you're not going to make it. Okay. So, give yourself some time to also pad in some, what I call the O shoots, electricity goes out, or catastrophic failure of the internet, as tends to happen sometimes. But you got Wednesday at noon till Sunday at 23:59 to get the quiz done. You may use all your notes, all the PowerPoint presentations, all of the homework and posts that we do that includes your text in the quiz. You may not use a fellow student. I don't want you taking the quiz with a fellow student. Okay, so it's your own work, but you may use notes and textbook. Now, some people will say, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would you give us an hour quiz, but let us use the textbook? Because you're not going to have enough time. If you read the text, and if you've gone through the text, you're going to be fine. If you try to take the quiz and try to answer all those questions in an hour without ever having looked at the text, you're gonna have a hard time. Okay, so I'm not after rote memorization in this course. I'm not going to make you memorize and regurgitate on the spot the environmental aspects, the external environmental aspects, or the steps to change. what I am looking for is your understanding of them. And so that if I do give you a talk to me about Connor's 8-step change theory, that you're able to discuss what it is generally and have an understanding of where in the textbook it is, so that you can go back and refresh and then talk to me about it. The reason for that is that this is more adult learning than pedagogy. You know, when you were young in grade school, we did rote memorization. That's why you did multiplication tables and add and subtract and I before E, all those rules that we learned by memorizing. Because as a child, they're building a foundation, and then your experiences will build upon that to broaden out your education. In the case of going back and doing adult learning like you are now, you come with a incredible amount of experience. And so what I want to try to do is have you apply that to what you're reading and studying in the text. And that will engage the learning piece. You'll see what the theory is, what the principle is, what the model is, and then base that on, hey, yeah, I've seen that before, or no, I don't quite agree with that model because of this reason. This is what I'm after in the course. This is what we're trying to achieve. I'm not saying that the text is wrong. Hopefully it's not. But a lot of this is how does it apply? And this is true in life, because you and I may have gone through the same coursework, but it will approach a problem differently. You know, I may tend to use a different leadership technique than you do. That doesn't make one right over the wrong. It's, you know, again, it depends on what we achieve out of that, what the effect is. But this is what we call contingency leadership. Depends on the situation and the means and methods of which you use to attain a conclusion to whatever the issue is. And I hope that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've talked more than I really wanted to. Those are really the basics. And oh, there, by the way, yes, at week 8, you do in fact have discussion forum, homework, and a quiz, and yes, the final paper. So week 8 is going to be a busy week. The benefit is you only have one chapter to read. So you see, we kind of meet you halfway.
Halfway-ish.
Sort of, yeah. So that paper is out there. We'll talk about more of that in a future Zoom session. But as it stands, if you want to upload your paper tomorrow night, you can. I mean, this is something that can be done early if you want. I don't necessarily recommend that. I certainly recommend, hey, have to go through the course a little while so you know what we're looking for. And yeah, but you know, can you be working on your paper in week 1? You bet. Can you wait until the night before it's due? Yes, you can. It's purely your style. I don't suggest waiting till the last minute, but it's not that long ago since I was a student, so I understand. Okay.
So this can either be a paper done by yourself or with a group?
No, yes, I that's a great question. I appreciate that. In the seated class, there were times I would make it a group project. So this is going to be an individual effort. Yeah, this will be your paper. Okay. If some of you come together and tell me you really enjoy working a project with fellow students, because it always works out so well, and I'm saying that a little facetiously, yeah, we can make the accommodation, I think. But yes, right now this is more designed of your understanding of management principles, because you're going to essentially you're picking a principle that you're going to cover in the text, and you're going to do a paper on that. So, for example, you may be really energized by the models of models of motivation, Maslow's hierarchy needs, Herzberg's two-factor theory, and the like. And this is what your paper will be written on, is motivation. Or you're going to tell me you really want to write on diversity, or you want to write on change management. Okay, and don't worry, I can give you some examples of what to use, or better yet, probably the best example I can give you is just look at any given chapter in your text, and that could be in and of itself a principle that you want to cover.
Okay.
Okay, and so what you'll do is you'll pull, what the text tells you about that principle, what you found in some other references,
Right.
and then you're going to not forget to give me you in it, what you have found, and like I said, we'll talk some more about that as we get on. But that is the course in a nutshell. I'm afraid Zoom's going to cause me to go black here in just a few minutes. I want to make sure you
It
get the
will.
last word. Make sure you all get the last word. Does this help it?
Yes. No, thank you. Thank you for going over everything.
Yeah. Well,
Understand
you
it a
paid
little
for
bit
it.
better.
My time is your time. So this, again, it's not mandatory, but I hope it helps. And this is how we run with it. And as I tell everybody, if we're not having some fun with this, we're doing something wrong. This is subject matter that I'm passionate about, and I know everybody should be as well, and are, because this is